Hey guys, Nick here. Thanks for coming by. It's been about a week since I've posted a video, so not really any major new updates. Just kind of what's going on. So got a lot of stuff done. Inherited some furniture from my late parents that got moved to its final destination. So it's in the family. Got has a great home, and yeah. So a lot of uh, feelings. It was very surreal. I think moving a lot of that stuff and kind of reminiscing about my folks. I miss them a lot, but um, it's part of life, and that was actually a really, really it was a cleansing experience, shall we say? So today was kind of an interesting morning. I went to my AA meeting that I normally go to, and on this particular morning, the person that was set to chair wasn't able to make it, so I stepped in and chaired the meeting kind of last minute. And I didn't really have anything prepared, and so I went into the daily reflection. Some of you that might be familiar with AA, daily reflections is just like a thing to ponder on throughout the day. It comes in a book called, the Daily Reflections, and it was a really good meeting, and it really got me thinking a lot about my diagnosis and liver disease and alcohol, because it was about the family and the what happens to the family, not just from mainly from the standpoint of the alcoholic coming back into the family once they've began recovery. And I kind of tied it in a whole lot to my experience when I got diagnosed. You know, Carrie's going to be doing some videos here pretty soon. She has a bunch of stuff in mind, and I think we're gonna kind of plug her into some of this. So I think it's going to be really fun. So keep an eye out for that. But it's difficult in our situation that we were in when I got diagnosed, and Carrie knows we talked about this, so I'm not really speaking out of turn. We were very much on our kind of last leg right before I got diagnosed. I had put her through a lot with my drinking. I was always working and things like that, but going through rehabs and being drunk, I was actually deliberately avoiding her. I would uh, stay extra late at work to make sure she was in bed by the time I got home. And what ends up happening is you feel like that. I was embarrassed by my drinking, and I didn't want Carrie to see me drinking because the amount that I was drinking, and it was embarrassing to me. It's not really something that at my space I could really share, with anyone. I mean, people knew that I was an alcoholic, but when I mean sharing, drinking with other people was, quite frankly, embarrassing just because of the amount that I would drink versus them, and just my ability to be, really normal, and people just not knowing, I mean, Carrie a lot of times wouldn't know exactly how drunk that I was, and we were pretty much at the end right before I got diagnosed, and I was staying somewhere outside of the house, usually a couple of weeks a month. Carrie just didn't want me around, and I can't blame her, especially when the stepkid was living here, and I was never violent, I wasn't an angry drunk, but it was just I was always drinking, so it became part of us splitting, and she had just had enough, and and I just always would assume a lot of times that she loves me, she gets it, she's just gonna it's not gonna bother her, I mean, she's not gonna leave, she's just understands me, that this is how I am, and the truth is, I mean, that's just not true, I mean, people have just because you've been with someone for a long time or years, doesn't mean that they'll be with you forever. A lot of times that they may leave, and it's their right to do so. We can't, you know, control other people's feelings, because a lot of times we're robbing them, their happiness. And I got diagnosed, and even at that point, we were still not set to be together. It just wasn't really, it wasn't going to work. It became more of a, making me comfortable while I was alive, because it didn't look like I was going to be alive much longer. And I actually asked her, why she stayed with me. It didn't make any sense to me. I wouldn't have stuck around. I mean, I didn't even like being around me, towards the end. I mean, it was just so defeating. I mean, it was just such a horrible spot to be in. And she said something to me very, very genuine. She said, I was no longer in love with you, but you were still my best friend. And she, put a lot of stuff aside to just to try to help me. She was the only one that I would even talk to. I wouldn't talk to the nurses. I was impossible when I was in the hospital. I was hallucinating. I was in simple. I was being tied to the bed. I was physically being restrained. And she watched all of that. And I know there was a period, there was a time when I just told her, just let me die. I don't want to live anymore. I don't want to live anymore like this. And not just with my diagnosis. I didn't want to deal with being an alcoholic anymore. It had just become too painful. And she understood, but she didn't give up on me. And I think what I'm kind of getting at is that the drinking and the disease and the diagnosis, it impacts so many more people than the individual that's physically stricken. And a lot of times the collateral damage is worse on others, because there's a helpless feeling that can't be really resolved. I mean, it can't. They feel helpless, and they feel frustrated, and they feel angry, and they feel sad, and they're not using a bottle to hide it. Whereas me, I had the bottle at least, and as miserable as it made me, I had something. Um, but a lot of people I know aren't as lucky as I am. And that's a big thing that kind of keeps me going, and kind of uh keeps me doing this, because I have a lot of amends to make. There are people that my parents and some others that aren't alive anymore, and I can't really make amends to them directly, but I can make amends in things that I do now. And I can give myself purpose, not just for them, but I feel really fulfilled, making stuff with you guys. I like just being a voice, um, because I couldn't find anybody that had a voice when I was sick, and I was so lonely. And um, and I'm still sick, to this day. I mean, you look, I'm not a healthy person, but I'm so much healthier physically than I was then, and I'm so much healthier mentally and spiritually. And that's really all I had to keep going. Obviously I have Carrie, but if I don't take care of myself, then all of that is null and void. So I hope all of you know how much making these videos means to me, and how much you guys mean to me, and how much I appreciate the nice comments and all of that. So I'm going to wrap this particular video up. I'm just kind of emotional about this subject, but in the link below, I have changed the name of our Facebook group to the International Liver Disease and Cirrhosis Support Group. There are people from all over the world, so I want to include everybody. Doesn't matter where you're from. We're all fighting the same battle. So look forward to hearing from you guys. Remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. It means the world to me, and I hope you guys have a great week.